have an announcement to make. It was a hard decision to get here. Got to thank the man upstairs, right, for putting me in this position, right, to really excel my talent, right. I'd like to thank my family and friends that got me to this point, and it allowed me to get here. So, with that being said, for the next 3 to 5 years, hopefully more, of this journey, I will be taking my talents to college sports crew. That's right. Welcome everybody. My name is Jamal. This is the Sideline. It's a college sports show where you're gonna get a washed athlete with a microphone just talking about ball. Right. I'm here with college sports crew. Thank you to the guys giving me that opportunity to really be a part of their network. Right. Really be a part of their journey. Really be a part of just an opportunity to just talk some ball. Right. So I'm here to do that with y'all. So appreciate everyone joining in, watching the show. Right. And if you are here, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed. Just do it for a friend. Be a friend, tell a friend, do it for a friend, subscribe for a friend. Right. Like the video. But more importantly, if you're familiar with what I do, I'm a very interactive person. So drop a comment. Let me know what you think. We're here to talk college sports. We are here to talk college sports, right? And what better place to do it? What better time to start than what is really going on in college football right now, right? We got the quarterfinals, right? The game we're about to get tonight, Miami and Ohio State. We're going to talk about that and break that down. We're going to talk about a little bit of some college football chaos that's going on, and I'll give you some brief picks on the next 3 games in the quarterfinals, right? Nothing too much on the first show, right? Really just want to dive in and kind of allow you guys to get a feeling of, this washed up athlete that's on the mic talking college sports now. So let's dive into it, right? Because we got a lot to talk about. And it takes us to tonight's game, right? Miami versus Ohio State, right? One of the first college games I've ever saw was Miami, Ohio State National Championship. Maurice Clarett, right? Jim Tressel with the gray vest, right? Winning the Natty, right? Against that Miami team, that Ken Dorsey-led Miami team, right? With all that talent, right? So it's cool to kind of see these two brands really get back in the ring together, really get back on the field together, right? And it's going to be an awesome fight. It's going to be an awesome fight. You think from the Miami side of things, right? The biggest thing when people are talking about Miami is Mario Cristobal. And all he's done from Oregon is come down here, build a culture, build an identity, have some of that Cuban coffee, right, and really transform this program. But the question they always have is, can I trust him? Can he win the big game, right? Well, I'll ask you this. How long did it take you to trust your significant other? Right? They had to build trust. They had to go through and rip off a couple Band-Aids before you're like, all right, I believe in you now. I trust you now. Let me put a ring on it, right? The same thing with Mario Cristobal, right? We know the saying of him winning the big games and some of the blunder decisions that he has. He maybe have proven something, I guess, in that Texas A&M game, right? That maybe he's getting over the hump. Maybe this team just plays well against better competition. And maybe this team gets bored against not so good competition. You think about Cal last year. You think about Louisville, SMU this year, right? But we're in the playoffs now, baby. So this is a different Miami team, a different identity in regards to the type of talent they're going to play. Remember who they looked like early in the year when they won their first couple of games, right? So that's why I think this Miami team could be a little different. Carson Beck definitely has to play better, though, right? Ohio State really hasn't played a veteran quarterback, a good veteran quarterback all season, except in that Big Ten championship game, and we saw what happened. If Carson Beck can play a lot better than he has been playing, Miami got something. But my question is who's going to step up outside of Malachi Tony, right? And Carson Beck, is he going to have enough time to deliver that thing and sling that ball, right? Is Fletcher going to be able to get involved in the run game against this stout, one of the best college football defenses we've ever seen, giving up only 8 points per game, similar to that earlier Bama defense, right? Defensively, Miami got some dogs, right? Miami got some dogs. You think about Ruben Bain, maybe one of my favorite defensive players in the college football playoffs, right? Miami fans, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about Ruben Bain, right? And opposite of him, you got Akeem Ezador, right? A little NASCAR package looking like the early 2000 New York Giants when they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl those days, and the type of talent that team had. This is what that Miami team looks like. And when you got Jason Taylor leading them, right? Are they going to be able to hold up on the back end against this talent with Carnell Tate and Joshua Smith, right? I think they could get pressure on Ohio State. You saw that right side of that offensive line have some issues against Indiana, right? And I think Miami has the talent where they could draw up some things. Either way, on both sides of the ball, if Miami's going to win this game, they have to win it up front. They have to control the offensive line. They have to get the run game going. And honestly, I think this has to be a big under center play action type of game for Carson Beck, right? I think you got to manipulate the eyes of the defense. I think they got to see the same reads, right? Start to creep up, start to cheat, take your shots. I think if Miami can activate the run, I think if they supplement that with a nice dose of play action and Carson Beck just plays smart, I think Miami has a good chance. I think Miami definitely has a good chance. But again, they got to control it up front on both sides of the ball. They got to take advantage of turnovers. And this is a Miami team that when they're playing fast, when they're playing explosive, when they're playing confident, they're a dangerous team. They're a dangerous team. On the other side of that, we got an Ohio State team, right? That's going to be led by Ryan Day. Brian Hartline already in Tampa with USF, taking over that program, trying to build his own form of a Buckeye offense down there, of an own dynasty down there, right? Ryan Day's calling plays. We know what Ryan Day does when he has time to prepare. He's one of the best play callers in the game. Pound for pound, he could call it with the best of them, right? So him versus Corey Weatherman, shout out to Corey Weatherman, former UMaine Black Bear where I played ball. Him versus Corey Weatherman is going to be a good matchup to have. I think Carnell Tate's the X factor in this game. Jeremiah Smith is obviously going to get a lot of attention. Julian Sayin, right, coming off of a not-so-good game versus Indiana, finishing fourth in Heisman, right, in the Heisman race, right, when he's had the best – or most accurate season of any quarterback in college football, right? I think Carnell Tate has to be a difference maker in this game, right? And then defensively, they're just stout. Arvell Reese, Sonny Dykes, all right? Caleb Downs, Igbinosa. This team is stacked. And that's why I think Miami has to, one, establish the run, but two, activate the play action, right? Really kind of get all three levels involved, right? And really test them, really catch them out of personnel sometimes, because this is a multiple defense. They're going to give you a lot of different fronts, multiple different line games, right? You're going to see a lot of different blitzes and very NFL style Matt Patricia, New England Patriots type of defense. So we'll see how it pans out. Now, where do I go when it comes to this game, right? I'm going to pick Miami to cover the 9.5. I know it's crazy, but I'm giving my blind trust to Mario Cristobal, right? I'm trusting Beck is going to have a game unlike a game he's had, right? Remember, last year, he couldn't even play in the playoffs because he got hurt in the SEC championship. He played well earlier in the season, including, obviously a game against my Florida Gators, but we'll have to talk about that. I think Carson Beck starts to activate the Carson Beck of old, right? At least I'm hoping. I don't know if they win, but I'm saying they keep it closer than what people think, right? They keep it closer than what people think. I'm going to leave it at that. If anything, I'll parlay that with the under. I think it's under 52.5. I think both teams in big games against big teams tend to play it a little tougher, a little closer, a little less scoring. And both teams want to, I think, establish the run. So I'm going to take Miami with the 9.5 to cover. I'll also take the under in this game, right? A little dose of a double leg parlay. See how that pans out. But this is going to be an awesome game. It's going to be an exciting game. And we're going to get a chance to watch it tonight, right? Tonight. All right, Miami fans, Ohio State fans, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about this. Let's have a quick pregame tailgate type of discussion, all right? Now, as we transition, right? But first, let's pay some bills real quick, all right? College Sports Crew. Dope-ass network. We got shows every single day, and I'm going to give you the lineup here, right? On Monday, Veteran Sports Voice Podcast with my guy, Coach Pops, really talking about vets and sports in the game of college ball, right? Tuesday, Sweet Tea in the SEC. My guy, Chris, my guy, Adam, really breaking down the ball in that type of ways. You got me on Wednesdays. The Sideline, a college sports show every Wednesday going forward. Then Thursday, you got We Talk Ball with my man, Chris and Austin as well too, right? And then Thursdays you get a little bit of reaction, you get a little bit of bang bop biddy boo, right? And really follow us, bro, because we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a good time. This is an interactive show. I like this is an interactive, podcast and network, right? So really just drop a comment, let me know what you think. Now, I want to head to the south. I want to head to the south because what if I told you you could go in the portal and find a receiver, right? Find a receiver, almost 100 catches, 1,300 yards, double-digit touchdowns that is available, right? Yes, I am talking about this guy, right? Cam Coleman leaving Auburn. Big, huge loss to Alex Golesh, by the way. Huge loss because I think Cam would have done well in that system, but Cam wants to go elsewhere. I think he stays in the South. I think he goes to the SEC. All right. I think some of the top contenders would be a team like Texas, pair him up with Arch Manning. All right. Maybe you go to Georgia. He would be the best receiver there since AJ Green. Right. Pair him up with Gunnar Stockton. All right. Maybe Texas A&M as an outsider. I don't know. But Cam Coleman is a beast. Easily a top 5 player in the portal right now. Excited to see where he goes. Right. The portal's going to be crazy. It opens up Friday. We're only going to dive more into this. Maybe next Wednesday we'll talk a little bit more about portal news, and maybe we'll have some guys sign and we'll react to it. But portal's about to be jumping, so it's careful we keep an eye on that. All right. Now, I'll give you some quick picks in regards to how it relates to the rest of CFP because we won't be here to talk about it. All right. And we have a big game tonight in that Miami Ohio State game, right? But let's go to maybe one of my favorite games, right? Oregon, Texas Tech is probably my favorite game, right? I'm going to pick Texas Tech to win. I think Jerry Maguire and that team is very underrated, underappreciated, right? Jacob Rodriguez is a dog. That mustache is All-American, right? That defensive line is ferocious, right? Top rush defense in college going up against the top rushing offense in college. I'm always going to favor the defensive side. I think we're going up against a team that is in Oregon who's actually ahead of schedule. They're not supposed to be this good this early, and they have a lot of young guys playing. They are ahead of schedule, but did they learn from last year in regards to the preparation and playing in that game, more so on the coaching staff, what that looks like, right? It's going to be a good game. In my favorite game to watch, I'm going to pick Texas Tech on the money line to win this game, right? Alabama, Indiana, in the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. I think Alabama pulls it off. I think we're about to get an Alabama team that's hitting their stride right where they need to be. Indiana, unfamiliar territory, right? I think Bama, a little bit more tested. Actually, I can't say that. Indiana has some good tests throughout this year. I can't even hate on Indiana. But I think Bama is the team that's more so hitting their stride. They're a team that's going to benefit more from playing versus having to buy. How slow of a start, how fast of a start does Indiana get out to, right? Is Fernando Mendoza going to live up to the hype? In all the big games, he hasn't really played well. Oregon didn't play well. Iowa didn't play well. Ohio State didn't play well. Penn State didn't play well until he had to, right? And that's kudos to him. That's not a knock on him. That's kudos to him. Ty Simpson, right? LT Overton, right? This Alabama team is really hitting their stride. Kalen DeBoer, 7-1 in big games. I like Alabama. I got to roll with the Tide in this game, right? Sorry, Indiana fans. Nothing against you. It's nothing personal. But I think you're going up against a team that could be a bad matchup. And if I'm wrong, we're going to come back here next Wednesday and talk it out, and you can talk all the shit you want. You can talk. I'll eat it, right? And then lastly, we're going to this Ole Miss Georgia game. Listen, this is a game that has maybe my favorite quarterback in the playoffs in Trinidad Chambliss, right? You think about the season he had coming in for Austin Simmons, off an injury and never looked back, right? This is a team that's explosive. But just as explosive as they are on offense, they give up a lot of points too. And they're going up against a Georgia team that's playing the best going down the stretch as any team in the playoffs. Right, Kirby has done his best coaching job with this Georgia team than any other Georgia teams he's played with over of late or of recent, right? And Ole Miss, is Kyron Lacy's got to get involved in this game because you're going to have to run this game. Ole Miss might have to play a game they don't want to play, and that's made it more of a control type of game, maybe a less high-powered, explosive type of game, right? They might have to try to win the dogfight, all right? And Georgia's not the team you want to try to win a dogfight with if the dogfight is a game you haven't played all season, right? So I'm rocking with Georgia in this game. I just think they're a team that's playing the best ball out of all the teams, right, in the playoffs. I think this is a team that really wants to revenge what happened this time last year. You think about everything that happened in New Orleans. You think about everything that happened personally for Kirby. Gunnar Stockton doesn't do well versus Notre Dame, right? I'm sure there's some calls in that game they want back. The middle eight, they didn't play well against Notre Dame, right? Special teams, they didn't play well. Georgia wants to revenge that. And this is a team that's literally been here before. And this is a team that really has championship pedigree. And I like what Georgia's doing, right? Drop a comment, let me know what you think. I'm picking Georgia to win. But if we recap it real quick, Miami's going to cover. Texas Tech and Bama on the money line, right? No, Texas Tech, yeah, because they're underdogs. Texas Tech, Bama on the money line, Georgia covers, right? Hey, this is officially the first episode of the Sideline, right? A college sports show where you're going to get a washed athlete with a mic just talking his stuff from off the field, off the court, right? But more importantly, I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate College Sports Crew just giving me this opportunity. I'm excited to come back next Wednesday and recap all the games we just talked about. And I may have a surprise video coming this week, right? I don't want to give too much, right? But I may have a surprise video coming this week. And I think it's going to be a doozy. I want you guys all to pay attention and keep an eye out for it, all right? But the only way to keep an eye out for it is make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think, all right? Athletes Forum Podcast, College Sports Crew. Together you get the Sideline, a college sports show. Take care.